loyalty, power, control. Most men in The Godfather failed to master them. Sonny Corleone, too reckless. Fredo Corleone, too weak. Tessio, too impatient. But Al Neri, he got it right. Why? What did he understand about power, loyalty, and survival that the others didn't? Because the same strategies that kept Al Neri alive, the same psychological tactics that made him one of the most trusted men in the Corleone Empire, are the same lessons that determine success and failure in the real world. Miss these lessons, and you'll end up like the men who thought they were untouchable until they weren't. Let's break them down. In the world of The Godfather, betrayal was all too common, from longtime allies to your own flesh and blood. True loyalty was rare. And that's what set Al Neri apart. But Neri's unwavering devotion wasn't just about who he was, it was also a reflection of Michael Corleone's leadership. Michael didn't just demand loyalty, he engineered it. Through power, fear, and strategic control, he ensured that Neri would never question him, never betray him, and never waver. So what made Michael's leadership so effective? How did he inspire absolute devotion in a world where loyalty was a death sentence? Let's break it down. Loyalty in the Mafia isn't just about trust, it's about control, dependency, and power. And Michael Corleone didn't just recruit Al Neri, he shaped him into his most devoted enforcer. Described as watchful, taciturn, ruthless, and unswerving in his loyalty, Neri wasn't just an enforcer, he was a man who devoted himself entirely to Michael. His obedience went beyond duty, it became his identity. But why? What made Neri's loyalty so absolute? The answer lies in psychology, power dynamics, and Michael's mastery of control. 1. The need for belonging. Why Neri needed Michael. The psychology of identity. Before Michael, Neri was a man with no future. A feared but discarded cop. A soldier without a war. A man with nothing left but his own brutality. The system he once served turned on him. His wife left him. His career collapsed. He had no place in the world. That's where Michael stepped in. The Mafia wasn't just a job, it was a new identity, a system where Neri's instincts weren't just tolerated, but valued. And once a man finds where he truly belongs, he'll do anything to protect it. Psychological principle. Social identity theory. People define themselves through the groups they belong to. The Corleones gave Neri purpose when society rejected him. Real life lesson? If you give someone a cause, a role, and a tribe, their loyalty becomes self-sustaining. 2. Michael made Neri indebted to him. The law of reciprocity. Neri didn't just get a second chance, Michael gave him everything. You see, this wasn't just a favor, it was a debt, and a man who owes his very existence to someone, that's a man who never turns. Michael understood Law 11 of the 48 Laws of Power. Without Michael, Neri had no future. Without Michael, Neri was nothing. Psychological principle, the reciprocity rule. When someone lifts you from ruin, you feel obligated to repay them. Real life lesson. Rescue someone from failure and they'll stay loyal, not out of gratitude but out of dependence. 3. Michael gave Neri status and power. Hierarchy loyalty. Traditionally, ex-cops could never become made men. The Mafia didn't trust former law enforcement. But Michael broke that rule for Neri. By personally backing him, Michael made Neri feel untouchable. First, a bodyguard, then a capo regime, finally his underboss, second in command of the Corleone Empire. This sent two messages. I am the reason you have this power. You are above the rules because of me. Michael understood that people don't just want money, they want status. And when a man's power comes directly from you, he'll do whatever it takes to keep it. Psychological principle, status elevation. People cling to those who make them feel important. Real life lesson. If you make someone feel irreplaceable, they will never betray. 4. Michael cultivated religious devotion, total institution theory. The Mafia isn't just an organization, it's a way of life. Michael ensured that Neri had no world outside of it. Even his Catholic faith, a core part of Sicilian culture, became secondary to Michael. In Neri's mind, Michael was the only higher power he needed to serve. This mirrors how cults and religious institutions create absolute loyalty by stripping away external influences and making their leader the sole authority. Psychological principle, total institution theory. When someone's entire identity is controlled by one group, loyalty becomes absolute. Real life lesson: if you eliminate alternatives, loyalty has nowhere else to go. 5. Michael rewarded ruthlessness and total obedience. Operant conditioning. Neri never questioned orders. No hesitation, no doubt. His most infamous test? Killing Fredo Corleone, Michael's own brother. Most men would hesitate. Neri didn't, because Michael trained him not to. The Mafia operates on positive reinforcement. The more ruthless Neri was, the more power he was given. Psychological principle, operant conditioning. Reinforce desired behaviors and they become instinct. Real life lesson: if you create an incentive system where loyalty is constantly rewarded, it will never break. 6. Michael created fear and exclusivity, fear-based loyalty. Michael wasn't like Vito. He didn't balance fear with respect. He ruled through fear alone. Neri saw what happened to Carlo, Tessio, Fredo, Mo Green, and the 5 families. Michael's message was clear: stay loyal or die. As simple as that. But it wasn't just fear, it was exclusivity. By making Neri part of his inner circle, Michael ensured he felt special, privileged to be trusted. Psychological principle, fear-based loyalty. When betrayal means death, loyalty is the only rational choice. Real-life lesson: a leader's power increases when loyalty is rewarded, but betrayal is unthinkable. 7. Michael never let Neri outgrow him, the law of power. Michael trusted Neri, but only to a point. He kept him close enough to be useful, but never let him become too independent. This follows Law 1 of the 48 Laws of Power: never outshine the master. Michael ensured that Neri's entire power base flowed directly from him. He was feared, but not too powerful. He was respected, but not too independent. He was indispensable, but never irreplaceable. The moment a subordinate becomes too strong, they become a threat. Michael made sure that never happened. Psychological principle, dependency reinforcement. A leader remains dominant by ensuring subordinates always need them. Real-life lesson: keep your most powerful allies close, but always below you. Final takeaway: how Michael created a loyal killer. Michael Corleone didn't just win Al Neri's loyalty, he engineered it. He rescued him, gave him a purpose, made him powerful, conditioned obedience, eliminated alternatives, and ensured dependency. The key to absolute loyalty isn't just giving someone something, it's making them believe you are the only source of what they need. Neri didn't stay loyal because of money. He didn't stay loyal because of admiration. He stayed loyal because without Michael, he was nothing. And that's how true power works. There's a reason the saying, "It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war," has stood the test of time. It's not just about strength, it's about control, about having the ability to unleash that side, but only doing in a purposeful, precise, and restrained way. It's about controlled rage. And if there's one man in The Godfather who embodied this philosophy, it was Al Neri. The power of controlled rage. Why Neri was different. Neri wasn't like Sonny Corleone, a slave to his emotions, loud, reckless, and doomed. He wasn't like a common thug picking fights just to prove himself. He was calm, cold, patient. A man who could sit in the background for months, waiting for the right moment. And when he struck, it was swift, final, and absolute. No wasted motion, no hesitation, just results. This is the difference between an enforcer and a war general. Because unchecked rage, that's self-destruction. A man who lets his emotions dictate his actions will make mistakes, burn bridges, and ultimately get himself killed. But rage that is harnessed and focused, that's a weapon, one that can change the course of events and secure victories. Why controlled rage is more powerful than reckless emotion? It instills fear without chaos. Neri never needed to raise his voice, never needed to prove himself. His presence alone was enough to send a message. And when he did act, it was decisive. No mess, no second chances. It allows you to dictate the battlefield. Michael Corleone understood this. He never struck first out of anger, only when it was strategically necessary. Neri followed the same philosophy. He wasn't fighting for pride. He was fighting for control. It builds an aura of mastery. A man who can fight but doesn't need to commands respect. Uncontrolled men, they are feared in the short term. Controlled men, they become legends. How to cultivate controlled rage like a mafia enforcer. 1. Train the body and mind. Always be ready for war in times of peace. A warrior in a garden is always prepared. Train in self-discipline, strategy, and decision-making. Keep a calm exterior, but a furnace inside. When the time comes to act, you must be ready. 2. Never act on emotion, only on strategy. Sonny Corleone versus Michael Corleone. Sonny acted out of rage, got set up and killed. Michael acted out of calculated anger, eliminated all his enemies in one move. Don't react immediately. Think, plan, then strike. 3. Use silence as a weapon. Neri didn't talk much, but when he moved, people listened. A man in control doesn't need to prove himself with words. His actions do all the talking. 4. Master the art of fear and respect. If you must strike, do it decisively. A man who fights only when necessary commands more fear and respect than a man who fights constantly. Make one move so powerful that you never have to make another. Final takeaway. Control is the real strength. A man who lets rage consume him, he burns out. A man who harnesses it, shapes it, and unleashes it only when necessary, that's the man who survives. Because in the end, power isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about knowing when to act and when to wait. And when the time comes, you strike once and it's over. Michael Corleone didn't just survive in a world of killers, he mastered it. From a reluctant outsider to the most feared and calculating boss in the underworld, every move he made was a lesson in power, control, and strategy. But what made him different? Why did Michael succeed where others failed? If you understand his mindset, his tactics, and the way he played the long game, you can apply those same lessons to business, leadership, and even everyday life. The answers lie in Michael Corleone's ultimate playbook. Click here to get started.